Today here on the Gamers for Life podcast, we're going to be talking about Max Payne 1 and 2 getting a remake, some reviews on the BAFTAs, a review on the third episode of the Halo series on Paramount Plus, and more coming up here, the Gamers for Life podcast. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gamers for Life podcast, where each and every Saturday discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is my co-host, my upstanding citizen, if you will, Arthur Thomas. What's going on, man?
That's me. I'm trying something new. Like I mentioned, I'm trying to get more, health focused about time. I don't know why. I'm definitely a victim, or I'm definitely not a victim. That's not the right word. An easy target for subliminal messaging. So I saw an ad somewhere in just across my life for one of those standing desks. And I'm not getting it. But I have a dresser. So, so I'm trying standing up for the pod instead of my lounge chair, because my lounge chair, as comfortable as it is, it makes me naturally go back. But when I have to sit forward, my posture is shit. So yeah, I'll just little things, drinking more water, try to just walk more around the just in the area. Usually end up with food. I'm just me, if I leave my house, I mean something. So it's oh cool, man, I went a half-hour walk for no reason. Large fries, extra seasoned salt.
Hey, I feel you, man, because I'm on the Weight Watcher diet right now, and it gets hard, man, especially when you're running out of your Weight Watcher stuff and you're walking around and you're kind of want to eat something, so it's just it's a dangerous game. It's a challenging game there.
Hey man, Dad bod summer's coming up. Let's go. Okay, well, you're married, but still, goals are goals.
Yeah, no, yeah, it still equates. So I feel you there. So
yeah, it's I had a lot of people comment my eyes recently. It's oh well, yeah, it's blue green, and it's man, it's fucking gut.
Oh man. Well, for those of you watching the YouTube channel, hello. Be sure to like and subscribe here on the channel. We definitely appreciate it. Hit the subscribe and the notification bell to get notified on the episodes for when they release. And for Gamers for Life, we also do our streams here. So Arthur, he manages that, takes care of that. Does some streams and whatnot, and they're really entertaining, really fun. So be sure to, again, like and subscribe on the channel. And we have a whole bunch of great episodes here on the show of some of our friends on the show, and then some really cool guests as well. If you'd like to check those out via audio, you can go to linktree.com/gamersforlife. That is the one-stop link to all of our episodes, so you can choose on which application you'd like to choose to listen to it. And here on the Gamers for Life podcast, we read the news while you can watch or listen to what you choose by clicking on the links of the time code within the description of the episode, whether you're in Spotify or you're in YouTube, so you can watch or listen to what is most important to you, or you can hang out with us here at the Gamers for Life podcast. We are more than welcome to have you check out the whole show with us. And speaking of shows, Arthur, we are watching very closely the Halo TV show on Paramount Plus, kind of giving our little mini impressions on how we feel about it. What are your thoughts on this episode 3 compared to episode 2? Better or worse?
Well, I mean, closely with an asterisk. I watched the episode an hour before we recorded this. So. Yeah, closely. Yeah, closely. I'm not dating my seat. Like we were for The Simpsons back in day. Oh my God, Treehouse of Horrors is Sunday. Clear your fucking schedule.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Back in day when The Simpsons were at its prime, that shit was a weekly family event.
Oh yeah.
I'm not like that for Halo. But to be fair, I feel arguably there's not a lot of shows that are like that nowadays.
True. Very true.
So episode 3 to 2, I liked that I can describe this show using more verbs other than they talked, and then they spoke, and then people listened, and then there was another conversation, where more people spoke, because that's episode 2. Episode 2. If you describe it, you're gonna be using those verbs a lot. So he spoke, and then she spoke, and then they listened, and then he responded, and you were like, "Oh, she said that." Yeah, that was episode 2. Episode 3 is like, you said that white kid. Fuck that white kid. He's dead. We're gonna beat him to death. And so I was like, cool, awesome, violence. Oh, but it's on a kid. I've been missing blood in this show, so I'll take it.
You're like, give me something, damn it.
It's like I don't know if you ever watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged from Team 4-Star, but it's like, we here do not condone child violence. We do, however, find it hilarious. So this episode clearly about that mystery character that doesn't exist in the game. I want to say the lore, but I can't confidently say that. I've read the book, so I can't confidently say she's not there. If someone's there, like, well, an episode on page 2. But as far as the games, this person's new. Fun fact:
Yeah.
Do you want to know the actress's name?
Well, sure, yeah.
Charlie Murphy.
Really? Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah. Her name's Charlie Murphy.
She'll be slapped eventually in the show then.
Dude,
What the fuck are you say?
And I gotta say for like, so again, of course we always say spoilers. Spoiler. Kid fucking dies. So trigger warning.
Yes. And I was making a Rick James Dave Chappelle joke. I am not for domestic abuse.
I hope she gets fucking slapped. No context. Moving on.
right. It's like, let me set the record straight here before I start bleeping things out.
Yeah. So this is. I mean, there was kind of like two kind of stories going on in this episode. There arguably a third. But again, with this her kind of origin of how it's like Sir her character's name SAH something. I barely read the subtitles, which again Paramount has the shittiest subtitles because it's this thin black font. There's a lot of stats that are fucking dark. Okay, I can't read the fucking subtitles. So she was like rescued as a kid. They were like tracking something that a glowing stick, and the glowing stick was beeping at her. And the aliens are like, "Oh, what? This is her." And then flash forward to her, now present in the alien world. We know where she got that book she was reading. And I gotta say, for a human raised around aliens, who's ever doing her hair is fucking killing it. And she's doing it herself. I know it's the future, and there's like fucking clones and shit, but like. Dude, for like a potential kind of prisoner, like Stockholm situation going on, I don't know who's dyeing her hair or making her hair look like that, but looks great. I don't know why I thought of that. I was like, oh man, they kind of took her as a kid. Man, I don't know at what point she learned in this alien race how to dye hair, but I mean, girl, I could barely see her roots, so go you. I do like the scene that they eventually kind of tease the elites, which again, if you don't know, the elites are in the games are this giant armored fucking hulking beasts, but they are a collection of worms. Like their weak spots at the back, aka where their armor is less. They are just like this collective mass of worms. So I think that was cool because if I do recall, I really don't remember that in the game seeing the individual worms do their own thing.
Yeah, I don't recall that either. It's interesting.
But then we get the other story of Master Chief, looking more into his dreams of why he, not so much why he, or kind of exploring why he's able to activate the relic. Outside of it, and we have the other subplot going of I already figured her name, the Korean girl that wants to go back and save planet Madrigal.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just can't. I've watched Encanto like 10 times. I can't not hear Madrigal every time they say her planet. But overall, I did like it more than 2 because there were things happened. Things happened other than talking, so it gets a pass for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if anything, it's definitely. I would say it's a little bit. It's definitely. I think it was definitely better than the last episode, but honestly I would say not by much if I were to be kind of critical. I guess my annoyance with this is I feel like there's some instances where I'm thinking like for Master Chief, for Pablo Schreiber's character, like I feel like he has a little too much faith in Dr. Halsey. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like one question that isn't really asked in the show where it's like, okay, why should I trust you? You know, because like obviously like Dr. Halsey's intent, like even though it seems to be like, oh, like she's part of the good guys, like no, like she's just one, like one. She talks about Cortana. Oh, Cortana's kind of basically like a mental surveillance system, and then also like, oh, like we want you to find the artifact so I can use it for science, you know, or use it for my powers. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, don't let that. But yeah, so I feel like there's a little bit of gullibleness on that end where I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I feel like for Quan's character,
there you go, Quan.
I just feel I'm kind of disappointed in the writers when it comes to her. I feel like they're trying to like figure out something for her to do, so they made up that story as far as like, you know, I want to free Madrigal, you know, let me get a ship, you know, and then you know, Bokeem Woodbine's character is like, okay, well either way I'm getting money, so whatever.
Fuck you, pay me.
Yeah, you know, and 3 episodes ago we thought that Quan would be a little more of a central character, or at least a sub-central character, and now it seems like they're trying to figure out what to do with her. So I'm kind of annoyed by that. I feel like I wish she was a little more tied in to the rest of the show,
or consistent, but not in terms of the actor. But I feel like I want to say the phrase "stay in your lane," but it's more like they haven't given her a lane. Like you said, they opened the show with like, okay, this is like this is our baby Yoda. Possibly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like episode 2, you live here now, fuck off, I gotta go do me, you do you, peace, you know what I mean? So again, like you said, it's like I don't know how to feel about her, because it's like her presence in the show, again, I don't want to say consistent in terms of runtime. I just mean, like you said, in terms of significance, is she a sub character? Is she a sub character? Like, is she a background NPC? Is she going to devolve into a background NPC? What are we doing?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree definitely. Yeah, from a writing perspective, it's very inconsistent. So, I kind of wish that they would fix that. I do think it is interesting though that Charlie Murphy's character Maki, I believe, as how you pronounce it, Maki. But
I'm just laughing because now we will just forever address her as like, you know.
I know. I'm trying to say it with a straight face, Charlie Murphy.
I'm not. No, John Murray.
Yeah, I thought that, you know, her background as far as like why she's, you know, kind of quote unquote like treasoning against the UNSC or whatever is because like, oh, like y'all like killed, you know, my love interest or whatever, so now I'm rocking with the aliens, I speak their language, and getting on the ships, so I'm like, okay.
Hey, easiest way to lock down that Stockholm syndrome, get them young.
I mean, I think there's actually some research to that proves that.
For the record, I'm not condoning child kidnapping. I'm just speaking to the show.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's how you do that. No. Now it clicked. I've
already got, but no, we're getting ourselves in trouble here.
Sorry.
No, it's my fault too. Yeah. So overall, I think it's okay. I just feel like some of the writing, I'm just like, I feel like Master Chief is written really like, not stupid, but just gullible. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he should have asked, "Why should I trust you?" to Dr. Halsey by now. You know what I mean? I just feel like it makes obvious sense. And then when he explains, like, oh, when he's like, oh, I don't know about this Cortana thing, and then she just like convinces him by like a couple of sentences. He's like, all right, let's do it.
So speaking of that, we have a new character. Cortana's here.
Yes, Cortana is in the building, folks.
And remember, as of now, my favorite character is still Dr. Halsey. Love her. She's awesome.
She's great.
You know, it's like, hey, she just, you know, she would talk down to me in that like Soul Trooper accent, I want to be fucking mad. So we got Cortana. I love that, like, for the first like handful of scenes Cortana exists, this is how the conversation goes. Hi, so Master Chief, shut the fuck up, Cortana. Hey, Dr. Halsey, shut the fuck up. Like everyone just tells Cortana to shut up.
Yeah.
Like the first like few minutes, like every time she tries to pop in, which I just find it funny. Eventually there is, like, again, you can see the relationship builds, and I can see how people are like, what? Master Chief or Cortana are BFFs. Remember, this is the prequel. They just met. The relationship rocky. You know, we don't know if Master Chief's ready for a commitment of an AI stuck in his head. You know, we don't know.
Yeah, and to be fair, yeah, exactly. No, and to be fair too, like this storyline in this show, it doesn't necessarily align with the games. I don't remember Master Chief finding his memories of why his dog, why he killed his dog when he was a kid. You know what I mean?
I didn't need to see the scene of Master Chief discovering music.
Oh yeah, that was pretty.
Like what his little side quest to have emotions. Like, oh, that's music. Oh, a dog. Oh, I'm fucking triggered.
It takes that thing out and he's like, oh, this is what it's like riding the train station. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, dude, they need to, and again, we mentioned in episode 2, the whole helmet off thing, it is not going away.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see him with his helmet on at all in this episode, and we only saw it on at the beginning of last episode when he showed up at the Meteor Rock Town place, the Rubble, they called it. Soren's Rubble, to be specific.
Yeah.
So the fact that, one, we see him without his helmet so much, and two, it's not like, it doesn't feel like our Master Chief. I feel like this show would get a little more leeway if this show had like a subtitle, kind of like the games, Halo 1, 2, 3. Halo ODST. There's no Master Chief because there's no number in it. I feel like if we would have got something like that for the show, would have got a little more of a pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Halo, Universe 2. Like
Halo, sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember Halo of like, cool, the mission starts, we're gonna kill things. Little cutscene. Let's keep killing things. So far, the kill count is like 20 elites in the first episode. Like technically like 5 POWs executed, not by Master Chief in episode 2, and some dead kid. So we're in episode 3 again. I know things are expensive, CGI, blah blah blah, but the action. I just would like my body count to be higher in this Halo show.
Yeah, man, like it's funny because this is where like I value the days of like 24, like watching growing up, where like it's just like it's progressive and it's like it's just hard hitting. You know what I mean? Like I miss shows like that where it's just like where we can still tell a plot, and for that intensity to happen, like I just wish there was more writing like that. Like you said, from a just as far as being expensive, it doesn't mean every episode has to be a war scene, you know what I mean? But I feel like there can be a little more tension. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to be fucking Star Trek like every other fucking episode, you know what I mean? So that's kind of my gripe on that. I
feel like with your comparison, perfect example, by the way, I still, you know me, whenever I'm a dude. So anytime the number 69 comes up, I'm like, anytime the 24 comes up, I just say Jack Bauer. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's just that show was great. I didn't grow up with cable. I based cable, and Fox killed it with 24.
They did.
And I feel like shows have slowly gone from a sprint to a marathon.
Yeah.
And the more we've seen these marathon, I hit my lamp. The more I see these marathon-like shows based on a sprint-like IP or world. I can't think of the word. But I mean, like Halo is a sprint, like arguably a sprint-based game. Or to like start the mission, go. Cool cutscene. I'm not saying the cutscenes in the lore in Halo aren't worth mentioning, but again, here we are in episode 3. Body count's low. We've only had one true fight. We only had one fight. You know what I mean? And so the more I see these marathon shows, the more I'm like Game of Thrones. I I can say I arguably liked Game of Thrones more because I skipped like 6 fucking seasons. I didn't, I didn't have to deal with they're coming. Hey, the zombies you saw in the first opening scene of Game of Thrones? They're still coming. Hey, it's season 7. They might be here. You know what I mean? So that marathon shit. Again, that's why. I don't want that marathon style to continue for Halo.
Yeah, I mean, I would say to defend Game of Thrones, it's a drama first before anything else. So, like, even though the Game of Thrones scenes without action are obviously much more interesting than what we're watching here for Halo, in my opinion. But I think one of my interesting or just kind of one of my weird observations on this is, I feel like when it came to shows like 24 or when it came to shows like Breaking Bad, I feel like it almost challenged the writers a little more because it was more of a ratings game, right? I think for the streaming, yes, you're trying to get streamer numbers, but I feel like writers are kind of getting a little lax because they're like, look, we have a lot of creative control. We got good for 9 seasons. We can just write our story, film our story, and be about that. We don't really have to worry about on-site like ratings of like who watched this at X time, because that's not how stream numbers work. No. So I almost feel like it's almost, even though there's some beautiful creativity control around that, I feel like in another sense, it can almost be a lackluster notion where we get the Mandalorian effect where like every other episode's great and the last episode's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't buy into that bullshit. Or I'm just like, look, give me some consistency here. It's like, yes, there doesn't need to be an action scene every episode, but to me, there needs to be something that's going to keep me wanting to watch the next episode. Like I feel like it's kind of, to me, this is the reason why I didn't watch it. Like your example is Game of Thrones. My example is Mad Men. Like, I feel like if I just skipped a couple seasons and I watched a random episode of Mad Men, I feel like I wouldn't have missed anything. You know what I mean? At least for Game of Thrones, there's like mad plot points where it's like, I have to watch this to really understand it. Always, I have to watch like some like YouTube sum up or whatever. But yeah, just to sum that up as far as for the Halo, I really hope, I just hope it cooks up a little bit. I don't think it's a terrible season. I do feel like the writing really needs to be improved next season. I need them to hit a little harder. I know they're creating characters and bringing things in. I think Pablo Schreiber, I think he's doing the best he can. I didn't really care, like you. I don't really care for like, oh wow, he's hearing Tchaikovsky for the first time, or he's hearing Bach for the first time. I don't really care about that.
There's a dog. Oh.
yeah. It reminds me of the dogs that I killed when I was a kid. No, I think there could be some better writing at play.
Question: as a fan, do you feel like the fans asked or even need this much backstory on Master Chief?
So I think this is where the line is drawn when it comes to the show. This show isn't really made for hardcore video game fans. It's Clearly. Not. It's not like their demo is people who their demo is really people who don't play Halo at all. You know what I mean? Or they're kind of familiar with it. It's not for the hardcore gamers, because I was having a conversation with a friend last week, and he's just super, he's one of those folks that's super against the helmet thing, and he explains like in various things in the book as far as like look, people literally couldn't take their suits off. You know what I mean? Like other people, like they had to let some of their comrades or some of their soldiers die. When something happens, it's like, I literally can't help you, unfortunately. Like, this is what it is, you know what I mean? So, like, that particular context, of course, it's not applied here in the show. But I think that's where the line is drawn, is where we have to understand, and it's kind of a take it or leave it thing, right? Us gamers who are super hardcore into Halo, we have to understand that the show isn't written for us. It's not written for gamers. It's written for people that don't play Halo. Like, and then for us, we're like, oh yeah, that's the thing, cool.
Yeah,
like
the face mask having the exact grenade symbol in episode 1.
Yeah, and then like the like the regen, like I was one of those guys. Yeah, I was one of the guys. I was like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like episode 1 drew us in so well, but like you said, the more it goes on, you can see that you're absolutely right. Not for the fans of Halo, and it's like this is weird because remember we have a lot more shows of games coming out, Fallout, Last of Us, and like look at Last of Us. How long has Last of Us been around? Halo's been around for 20 years. So the fact that a lot of people aren't watching the show, and like let's say if you're someone that's watching a show, and you think someone not watching it, like you think a gamer not watching it is like insulting or they're wrong. Again, there's shows like Last of Us coming out. That IP's only existed for like arguably 8 years. It feels like Halo's been around for 20 years. Halo founded what Xbox is. So to say you're going to take a game that founded the modern day Xbox, what it is now, and to take 20 years of those games, and to say we're not making this for gamers, I absolutely understand why a lot of people are on the other, like I said, on the other side of that line in the sand.
Oh no, yeah, that definitely makes sense. I think it's a really good point, especially because you're taking precious. This is kind of like what we had from our first conversation around this, right? As far as like we're taking these very precious stories to us, from a gaming perspective, and you're making money off of it, and then you're not really making at least a decent attempt to satisfy that particular part of the audience. So I could definitely understand that. Like for example, like if they did Last of Us, like the HBO show, if it was similar, like if I was watching that and it was similar to this Paramount thing, I would be a lot more upset, just because the beauty of Last of Us is its source material, where it's really bare bones. The writing and the story was very, very good. It was like, if you can't get that right, like, it doesn't mean it has to be tooth and nail, but it's like the map is already laid out for you. I feel like for Halo, it's a little different, just because those games, even though it's a 20-year franchise, for those who aren't adapting directly from the books, people are like, well, I guess I have to create something, I have to create something around it. You know what I mean? I do think they could have did a better job, but I can see the other side of the spectrum too, as far as like, where do we start in this? How do we engage people that aren't familiar with these games, even though it's a 20-year franchise? So yeah, it's kind of a twofold thing. I definitely understand those gamers that are upset.
And it's weird because if you take a look at books, I know books is a massive fucking list, infinite list of movies, but I would argue movies, well, there's a lot of exceptions. Okay, like here's my thing. I feel like it's more common to take a movie or show from the game source material, and execs, writers, people behind the wheel making decisions, I feel like they take more creative liberty and making it not exactly true to the source material, compared to like some book adaptations, or even recently with Marvel with the comic book adaptations. Like I feel like Marvel I think one of the reasons why Marvel was so successful was not only on face value, they were entertaining movies, but they did a lot of credit to the source material. But again, I just I just feel like something about games is just where almost it's more than times than not, it comes up tails where like it's just, we're gonna like not really pay attention to the source material, we're just gonna use it as like a backdrop. And I feel like that's more common when you see, again, movies and TV based on games than, let's say, with comics or arguably like some books. Again, books is a massive genre, so there's a million exceptions, but that's what I feel like. I feel like people more stay true to the source material of, like, let's say a Marvel comic. And what we've seen the DC, like some of the DC, or arguably at least the DC animated movies, the DC comics, than with games. And of course, there's exceptions with those I just mentioned, but I feel like it's more common with games to walk away from the source material.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there. I think for Halo, I almost think a part of me thinks that one, it is a creative decision to not do source material, and then the other side is a financial reason. I'm wondering if they went with the source material, would they be able to do it financially? You know what I mean? As far as for just some of the other things in the Halo universe. I mean, arguably, maybe they could have. So part of me wonders if capital is a big point of not contention, but just a part of the reasoning for that. But yeah, I think in general, to your point, I think the being closer to the source material will be a bigger win than not. And then as far as how to connect that with people who aren't familiar with it, that's where those type of writers come in to fix that. So yeah, I think you have a good point there, because I don't want to see a bunch of video game shows that are going to do it in the same style as Paramount Plus, as far as like how they approach this. I don't want that's not going to be very interesting to me, as a gamer.
And I feel like any gamer that's kind of either introduced someone into gaming, or like, hey, or just had like a partner, a friend, a girlfriend, a sister, whatever. Like for me in my case, growing up, like my sister, when we were kids, watch me play games. People like slowly discover the games entice you on their own. Like people, like how many times have we heard non-gamers, but like just like watch a game or like watch cutscenes, watch Uncharted for the first time and be like, wow, this is like a movie. So with how common that is, I feel like I want to see the shift where they stop going away from the source material, because I would argue the source material on its own is enough to draw in the fans that aren't necessarily familiar with it. Now, mind you, they might not get references or stuff like that, mind you, but again, like I said, as someone that has played games and has like seen on multiple occasions, someone just enticed watching someone playing a game, because again, the game, the story, the writing of the game is able to entice somebody enough on its own that wasn't familiar with it prior. But does that make sense?
I see what you mean. I think my only disagreement is that I think it's more of just a visual nature as far as how technology looks comparative to like the actual like rarely I rarely get a response when I'm playing a game. They say, oh, that seems like a movie, because they understand a part of the story or part of the game. It's more just a visual nature. But I think you do have a point as far as I think these studios need to do, they need to do a better job of trying harder to get at least to some aspect of the source material. So I agree with that. I agree with that. They need to do a better job. And speaking of the studios of Xbox here, we wanted to talk a little bit about Game Pass, April. Yeah. Some really impressive games that they're adding here to the docket. One of them I'm very, very satisfied with, because I was going to buy this game for $60, and I'm glad I just negligently didn't renew my Game Pass until recently.
and hey, I know we're about to discuss it, but I'll just say, this might be the first time I play that game in that series.
Nice.
It's on Game Pass.
Exactly. So there was a couple of games on your end that you were really excited for this recent April drop of Game Pass. Go and tell me a little bit about it.
One I just bought. It was on sale though, so it was like on sale for $7. I'm not too mad. Okay. Lost in Random. That was that game we saw during E3, where it was this girl in this very dark black and purple aesthetic Tim Burton like world, where like her buddy, her little travel companion was like a sentient, again, like gothic Tim Burton looking dice. And like based on a trailer alone, a lot of people are like, hey, a Tim Burton-esque game that looks fun, I'm down. And as much I criticize EA for the things they deserve to be criticized on, this is an EA published game. I haven't started playing it, but I'm looking forward to playing it. The reviews, because at least I haven't seen the reviews like on Metacritic, but at least I look at the Xbox reviews more, because to my knowledge, unless it's changed, unless you've like purchased or like downloaded the game, you can't leave a review on the Xbox Marketplace. So
interesting.
So that's where you get a little more accurate. Like, it may have changed, but I remember that was a thing. I tried to contribute to a review bomb. Battlefront 2, mind you, totally fucking deserved it. But that was before I bought it, and it wouldn't let me. I don't know if that's still a thing, But again, on the Xbox Marketplace, the reviews for Lost Random are good. I can't wait to play it. Another game I was joking with you, comparing it to the new PlayStation Plus thing. Is it PlayStation Premium? What was the name of it? Their new service.
It's oh my god, why did I forget this? PlayStation Plus.
Okay, so they got like it's a new the new PlayStation
Plus.
The new PlayStation Plus. And one critique we talked about that they don't have any day ones for it yet. And so I was laughing. Xbox Game Pass is getting MLB The Show 22 day one.
Yeah.
So it was like, so technically Xbox Game Pass has more prior quote unquote Sony exclusives the day one than Sony.
Yeah.
Because we got the show.
Sadly.
Shout out to Otani of the Anaheim Angels, who I've seen play a few times. I'm glad he made the cover as a fan of his.
Cool.
And another, of course, the game that you're excited for, Life is Strange Colors.
Yes, Life is Strange, True Colors.
True Colors.
Very very excited. Very excited for that. And yeah, I'm a big, as you know, Arthur, I'm a big Life is Strange fan. I've been playing Life is Strange 2. It's a little hard to play. It's because the subject material is pretty intense. And I can just see it spiraling into madness. But I did end up playing Before the Storm, because that is a prequel to the Life is Strange series. Obviously, this is kind of an offshoot of the series, so it's a completely different character, but it's still it seems to be still very Life is Strange-ish. So I absolutely am going to play this. Originally, I was going to buy this game at $60. I was like, gosh, I love, it's funny. I've said this before, but Life is Strange very much reminds me of like that Netflix show that's just a guilty pleasure that I would watch.
Yeah.
Like, the music is great, the story is really engaging, and you want to see what happens at the end. And it's absolutely one of those games that really draws you in from a narrative perspective. It's really the strongest thing that it has in the game, because everything else can be arguably like very clunky as far as the gameplay. But I put up with it because the story's so engaging. But for True Colors, yeah, very excited. Very excited to play this on Game Pass. So it's funny because before this was announced, my Game Pass was going out. I was like, oh damn, I gotta renew my Game Pass. And I saw this news clip. I was like, oh shit, okay, now I really gotta do it. So very excited here. And then just to read off the list of the games that are going to be available. So you got Dragon Age 2 going to be available for the cloud, Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare, Star Wars Squadrons, which I paid for $60 on PlayStation, which I'm fucking pissed, but whatever.
Hey, same. You and I, wait, it was $60 on PlayStation?
Or it was 40, my bad.
40, I was saying.
40.
That was the game where EA was nervous following the heat from Battlefront 2.
Yep.
And if they would have invested a little bit more into that game, it could have been great, because on face value, Squadrons is a good game.
Yes.
But to justify the $40 price is because there is lack of content. And it's not exactly a quote-unquote bad thing when the biggest negative review is saying, I want more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
true.
It did suck that I remember, Joel, it was like 2 months at max. It was fast.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like 2 months at max where the developers literally came out and published a statement saying they are no longer supporting the game. There'll be no more there's no DLC. There's no more updates. The game is what it is, which was disappointing because it really was a fun game. You and I played it. It got amazing reviews for VR. It got amazing reviews across the board. Great game. I just wish EA would have got a little more confident and invested more into that. I
agree. You have Cricket 22. The MLB The Show, as you mentioned, Arthur. Chinatown Detective Agency, which will be for cloud, console, and PC. Which I might check out. Are you familiar with that one?
That was one of the indie games. Shown at the recent ID at Xbox Showcase.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It looks good. The voice, I want to say the voice actress they had on the showcase described more of the game, everything like that. So I mean, it made me a little excited for it. Again, one of those games. I'll be honest. I'll just be honest. One of those games that if it were to just drop onto the store as is, I'd be like, maybe not. But It's on Game Pass, so I'm gonna give it again. I'm on Game Pass. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna give it. Again, that's what, again. one of the biggest benefits of Game Pass is increasing potentially increasing like playtime or like downloads, where they wouldn't have really possibly had that prior, especially as an indie game.
Right. Exactly. Continue on here. You have this. So as far as for this launch, to be specific on like when these games drop. So it says this. So the Dragon Age 2, Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare, Star Wars Squadrons. Those games are going to be dropping today. We're recording today on the 7th. And then it says the second batch of games launching next week on the 12th will be Life is Strange: True Colors, Panzer Corps 2: The Dungeon of Nullbo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Let's see. And then on the 14th of April, Lost in Random will be available on the cloud, console, and PC. So
I can play it now because I bought it.
Nice. Hell yeah, that's right. Oh man, so good stuff there. Definitely am not disappointed. And speaking of more games to celebrate the games, wanted to transition over to the BAFTAs, and that just happened recently for the BAFTA Awards. Wanted to read off a little bit of these awards here that just pertain to gamers, if you will. So to start off this, it says, so for the 2022 BAFTA Game Award winners, looks like the best narrative game was a game called Unpacking, best evolving game, No Man's Sky, best original property, It Takes Two, audio achievement, Returnal, best British game, Forza Horizon 5 won that one, EE Game of the Year, Unpacking, technical achievement, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which is sweet, best debut game, Toem, best multiplayer game, It Takes Two, best music, Returnal, game Beyond Entertainment, Before Your Eyes, best performer in a supporting role, looks like Kimberly Brooks from Hollis Forsyth and Psychonauts 2 won that award, which is really awesome. It's nice that, I mean, Psychonauts 2 deserves a lot more, but I'm glad they're getting something here.
Yeah, I'll say real quick, like we mentioned, definitely got screwed at the Game Awards.
Yeah, man. Best family game, got Chicory, A Colorful Tale, artistic achievement, The Artful Escape, best game design, Inscription, best animation, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, best performer in a leading role, Jane Perry, who played Celine Vasos in Returnal, and best game, they gave it out to Returnal, which is pretty interesting, pretty cool. So congratulations to all of those winners there. What were your thoughts on the awards here for the BAFTAs?
A lot of Game Pass games, a lot of Xbox first party titles. Returnal, definitely. Returnal was one of those games, again, Sony, I don't have hands on it. From what I heard, is from one of those games I just wrote that was well deserved. And then it's just funny that I just recently got into Forza like this month, and now, oh hey, what's up? Best British game. So it's almost like my quality. It's almost like my taste in games is really fucking good. And then of course, It Takes Two. It Takes Two. That one game of the year here in the States, getting a lot of accolades over there. One game that really hasn't been talked about, I think should get way more fucking mentions, is Before Your Eyes. What the fuck? That's the game, remember, Drell, where time advances in the game every time you blink? Like, shit, when I hear shit like that, like, that's gaming of the future. Like, that's fucking nutty. Of course, with that system, it's exclusive to PC, and you have working webcam. It does all the settings, and it dials it in, whatever. Can't think of the fucking word.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
And so again, when I hear about games like that truly are changing, like have innovative mechanics. Again, when I hear games like that, that's like stuff of gaming in the future. Like, yes, there's graphics. Yes, it's like frames per second. Yes, pixels. But to say, hey, we have a game that the game changes every time you fucking blink, that's intense. That's crazy. And I think you should get way more praise for that. Because again, that's an indie game. I can't confirm this. It just, I feel like every time I heard about it, it's made by a team of a handful of people. If I'm wrong, my apologies. Just, I feel like the way when I hear about it, it's on par with a small indie team. Another game Oh, another thing that was funny too, with the Forza thing, best British game. The car they used for the thumbnail, that's my favorite car in the game right now. The Bronco.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
The 2021 Bronco.
Nice.
Because Forza is the track racing game, kind of like on par with like Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon is the open world game that takes place in Mexico, where it's muy bonito. Shout out to that fucking unfortunate cringe lizard people talk, the Xbox showcase that was the Forza Horizon section, but it was. But again, because the game's open world and there's a lot of off roading, I've fallen in love with the Bronco, and you can customize skins. You bet your ass there are a ton of people that made the OJ Simpson fucking Bronco. Because something you can do in Forza is something you can you can customize a car on your own. No, not confirming this, but one of these days I'm gonna try to sit down. I'm not artsy. Emma knows me. I can draw stick figures at best. I'm gonna try to do like a Gamers for Life logo in the thing, because you can do letters. I'm gonna try. But if not, don't hold me to it. But you can also load up skins and decals made by other people. Oh yeah, there's a ton of OJ White classic Broncos for that fucking car.
Oh my god, that is funny.
Hashtag he's innocent.
Anyway, what I do appreciate here from the BAFTAs, I do appreciate their attention to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Mm-hmm. Because they were doing some really great stuff, and I feel like it was definitely one of the games that really pushed the power of the PlayStation 5 that said, yes, this is a next gen fucking game. I feel like Returnal was kind of the first one that was like, yes, this is a next gen title for PS5 exclusive, and I'm glad Rift Apart was definitely another one in that pack. So they won 2 awards to the BAFTAs. So definitely happy that they got their just due there. So very cool stuff.
I feel like Ratchet and Clank would have been much more successful if honestly, I think Ratchet and Clank would have been way more successful if there wasn't a PS5 shortage. I just think because of the shortage, and because remember, Ratchet and Clank came out hard into that, like, early on. It's gonna be a while till we have consoles sort of timeline. So I think that, in terms for a launch title, you're absolutely correct. The mechanics absolutely push the boundaries with the PS5, because I would argue, like I said, one of the biggest things I noticed from my upgrade to my Xbox One to my Series X, there's like a graphics and a polish there, but easily the biggest noticeable update was loading screens. And Ratchet and Clank just wanted to abolish loading screens. Like, we're gonna load a whole new world, a whole new map, a whole new world right in front of your eyes. Yeah. And like I said, that's I think kind of mechanics like that is pushing, again, in terms of consoles, not really Nintendo, are what's pushing the PS5 and the Xbox One, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X is, yes, the slight polishment graphics, especially now that Unreal 5 is becoming a thing, but again, loading times or lack thereof, to make games much more smooth and immersive, like Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So definitely really awesome that game came out. Most definitely, I'm glad it was just a full new game versus a remake. However, if there's an exception to the rule on remakes, it's going to be Max Payne 1 and 2, baby. So transitioning over, Remedy did announce that they are going to be remaking Max Payne 1 and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. Recently got announced here. It says here, according to IGN, the first 2 games will be available for PC, PS5, Series X, and Series X. And Remedy will handle the development, while Rockstar will finance the project, which will be in line with a typical Remedy AAA game production, which is definitely good to hear there. I'm very, very excited about this, and part of me it might be just because I miss Max Payne, and Max Payne, to me, it just from a nostalgic nature, it did a lot for me. As far as just from a gameplay perspective, you know, I remember my
bullet time,
baby. You know what I mean? Like I remember I was in middle school, and I remember my friend Mickey. He was talking about. He was talking about Max Payne. I was like, that sounds dope. I was like, can I borrow that? So he let me borrow it. You know, the first one, and I was playing it on PS2, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. And I love the art style. I love the comic book, you know, split cinematic scenes. I love the narration. I love the sound of the guns. I just love how they did the story. You know what I mean? Just like, and all the characters and stuff. All the other characters were really good as well. It just really drew me in. And the Fall of Max Payne, even though it was a shorter game and maybe not fully better than the first game, but still a really solid title. It was an improvement from a technical perspective. Guns are great, and then the continuation of the story. They're just timeless classics of the gaming universe that I really love. They're definitely staples within the Rockstar that I feel like were kind of forgotten for a while. You know, Max Payne 3, we mentioned before, Max Payne 3 is great.
In a good way, they changed a lot. They changed a lot, but the changes only added to the game rather than take away.
Yeah.
Because it's tricky. You play Max Payne 1 and 2, and again, if you never played Max Payne 3 without any context, this is Max Payne. It's a really different game, but it's done so well. It's done so well because also the timing. You know, I feel like we grew up with it. You know, I mean, like so for us, you know, as youngins. To to fucking play a fucking slow motion shooter, fuck you, blah 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 blah, and all of a sudden, you know, like we grew up a little bit, matured a little bit to throw in like a really good fucking story and dialogue. We're like, oh, okay now. So Max Payne 3, Max Payne definitely a game that I think more people need to jump on.
Yeah.
Remedy, mostly known for also Alan Wake and Control. The fact that this is not the people that did the recent Rockstar trilogy remake, I have hope.
Okay.
Just because on face value I hear Rockstar remake, I'm like, I really can't think of a remake. I can't think of like that many remakes that have been like a lot of people. Here's what I'm going with this. A lot of really good remakes that have come out have like dropped the ball.
Yeah,
like a lot of them in 3 of them. It was one game, but 3, you know, in Rockstar's court, a lot in Activision Blizzard's fucking court.
Yeah.
So one remake that was really good, Kingdoms of Amalur.
Oh yeah, I love that game.
And then we got the DLC for it. But with this, I am looking forward to this. I am looking for some classic, just fucking fun shooting, bullet time. On a Series X.
Yeah, definitely. So, I can't say good enough things about this. Very excited, which is very rare because the Gamer for Life podcast, there's been a lot of really disappointing news, unfortunately, that we have to cover. And speaking of disappointing news,
I like the transition at all. It's like speaking of disappointing news, breaking news: the dog that played Master Chief's dog in Halo series has passed away. Like, I mean, as a transition, yes, smooth, but not a fan.
I know. I don't think anyone is of this game at this point. And I'm referring to Battlefield 2042. So I thought this is just more of like a funny thing. According to Game Right here, it says the title of the article: next Battlefield game needs to what does it say? The next Battlefield game needs to make sure it doesn't repeat Battlefield 2042 mistakes. And in the subtitles, it says here, while EA DICE had its work cut out fixing Battlefield 2042 in its current state, the next game in the franchise cannot make the same mistakes. And definitely agree there. And it says here that they released a blog, DICE did, on a kind of addressing their faults and what needs to be made here. I probably just hope that this isn't just a cop-out, though, because it says here that the development team says that it has learned valuable lessons from 2042, so hopefully those lessons will be re-implemented to its next title.
Lies.
And
Sorry. I close my window. I come back like, well, what was the disappointing thing we were talking about? I hear, so 2042. Ah, god damn it. Sorry.
No, I know. It's all right. I know. I'm fired up on this too, but because one of the things they say, oh, they just learn valuable lessons, and I'm like, valuable lessons. Some of those valuable lessons are just common sense. They're in the previous games that you didn't include for whatever fucking reason, because you're too much, pushing making it once again a battle pass game versus a full Battlefield experience. It's like after Battlefield 1, it's like everyone just went stupid. The lead of the Battlefield 2042, I want to say he was the director, because he left, and he left conveniently around that time. And then they were making a bunch of, weren't these the folks making a bunch of excuses as well as far as to the reason why it tanked? They're blaming COVID, they're blaming a bunch of other shit, right?
When I hear we've learned a lot from this, like, oh, you learned that in 2022, when you have a fucking multiplayer shooting game, you should have a scoreboard.
Right.
You're fucking just learning this? Well, you see, there was COVID, and what? It, affected your ability to have common fucking sense? And here's why I'm shaking my head no. Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 fucked up.
Yeah.
So, and that was their predecessor. Now, mind you, if Battlefield 5 didn't exist, if we'd gone from Battlefield 1, an amazing fucking game, to Battlefield 2042 and been like, whoa, we made a lot of changes, we learned from those mistakes, maybe. Actually, no, because I still shit on Battlefield 5 because fuck you. But again, so it's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, DICE was okay. How many times do we hear from DICE? We're learn from our mistakes. What? Oh, okay. So you fucked up Battlefront 2. You fucked up Battlefield 5. You fucked up Battlefield 2042. At what point are you to start learning and start being fucking good?
Yeah, when are you gonna apply what you've learned, into the actual game? It's
like, yeah, because seriously, when I hear EA is a publisher, okay, fuck yeah. When I hear EA is a publisher or games, just DICE again. Look at DICE's recent track record. It's going downhill, so they keep having these same fucking excuses or new ones. COVID.
Yeah.
Hey, how come we don't get extra points for a headshot? This guy was in quarantine. He was coughing a lot. He was in charge of headshots. Yeah. He didn't drink enough. He didn't have enough Campbell's chicken soup. I'm sorry. So I mean, you can't, you learn from your mistakes, motherfuckers. You made whole new ones.
Right.
You can't say learn from your mistakes when these are new. You can't. There's no score. These are key things that's been in multiplayer since PlayStation. I feel like 1, definitely PlayStation 2. Hey, name any game where you shoot a person, you get X points. You shoot them in the head, you get a little more points. Battlefield 2042? Nah, let's not have that. Yeah, fuck it. Hey, what about scoreboard? Nah. Yeah, it's COVID. People are coughing. No scoreboard. and again, the fact that this is DICE, they fucked up again. They fucked up Battlefield 5. They fucked up Battlefront 2. Asterisk there. A lot of those microtransaction shit happened with EA doing EA, but their name's on it. So
yeah.
I think when I hear this, it's like, fuck you, do better, fire people, do something.
Yeah, I agree with you, Arthur. I'm just tired of the excuses. I'm tired of the excuses, and I'm tired of it being a patronization to support their their battle pass or whatever the fuck it is. And I just need people to make games and make them well. You know what I mean? And if you have to push it, if you have to make it to the point where it won't be out for a certain period of time, just do that. You know what I mean? Obviously, Cyberpunk, another example. Which it's there's a sale for, or it's insanely cheap for $5 for PS5 Series X at the moment. Just because of the blunder, the crazy blunder that whole situation that we've covered here on the show. It's just really disappointing for someone who paid $500 or more for these next gen consoles, now current gen consoles, and you have these excuses like that, of not making a game to its full, one, common sense, and then two, to its full potential of being a game that that we deserve, as customers and as gamers. So I'm just tired of the excuses. I just need people to fucking make the games, to make the games and make them well. The Elden Ring, they've knocked it out of the park, which I'm really happy to see. Even for Dying Light 2, even though there's a couple of hiccups, they fixed the hiccups, in the game. Even though I don't know how many people are playing it now, there was a point where it was very much on a high. It
was like top three Steam.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned, COVID didn't affect Elden fucking Ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like yes, because they may argue, oh well, Elden Ring's a completely different game. It's like, yes, but the game's still good.
Exactly.
This isn't even good.
It's like, we're very different from Elden Ring. Yeah, it's good. I want to play it. It's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
It's getting good reviews. And you're right. Elden Ring is quite different than Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
Side note, we mentioned fixing the games, more on. I meant real quick, another shout out to No Man's Sky, which is continuing to win awards. When you mentioned the BAFTA, I was like, that was meant for Forza and for real quick, No Man's Sky, which I keep saying I want to get back into, but keep forgetting.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, there's for the games that we are playing, it's like, damn, it's hard to get back to those old ones, but yeah, definitely, as far as I'm really proud of that team, because they've won so many awards after really just kind of following through on like, hey, we're gonna fix this, you know what I mean, and then we're actually doing it, and now they have this crazy world now, you know what I mean. So it's just, I really appreciate that, and I can't imagine what type of financial stress or whatever they put them through to kind of unfuck whatever they fucked, but obviously it's paid off. They've won mad awards from the Video Game Awards. They won some BAFTA awards. It's a really good look. So I really hope that they are going to be good financially for whatever the next thing that they work on. But yeah, very, very, very proud of them.
And before we move on, it is worth noting, because you mentioned, financial, you mentioned the financials to it. This is clearly a passion project for them. Just real quick, this is from tweaktown.com. When you Google things, you get their first little blurb. No Man's Sky is an oddity. It's a live service game that has absolutely no in-game monetization whatsoever. So mind you, they've been doing all these patches, all these massive updates, I think they have seasons now, don't quote me, but all these fucking major game-changing things that's in the game, and they've been doing it with not one fucking dime of a microtransaction.
Yeah.
So, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro, absolutely. It's funny because, like, part of me, like, wonders, like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's almost respectable. No, that wouldn't work because gamers want something. I was gonna say it's almost more respectable just to be like, hey, if you want to donate to the studio, you can, but there's no microtransactions. That's the only thing. If you want to, you can. If you don't, that's completely fine. Enjoy your game. Like, I feel like that's even more respectable than doing an update, right? Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're killing it. Like, yeah. Like I said, I feel like, almost to a point, not on par with you and Kojima, but I feel like every 3 months you hear this phrase: No Man's Sky adds a massive update, or No Man's Sky wins another game award.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you fucking do it. And like, I just feel bad again, just because the Game RDD, Game Pass, the plethora of games just throwing they're on my face. I had a comparison to that I did not make, but I think visually, You got it. I really want to do, because I played the game for hours and I really want to get back into it because I feel like Minecraft as a world building game, people I feel here's like what a lot of people do in Minecraft. It's almost like a joke. It's like ignore Minecraft for a year and then fucking no life it for like a month straight. And then ignore it and get back into a year later. Like that's what me and my friends do. Ivan, Caleb, the group here, and like I said, a lot of people do. It's like, especially now that they have a new update, the caves and cliffs update. Now that there's like axolotls, there's massive new biomes, there's a lot of nether stuff. So again, it's like, oh my god, again, get back into Minecraft and like no life it for like a month, and then come back to it like way later. I kind of want to do the No Man's Sky. Like it's a beautiful. It is a beaut. Like Drill, if you just want to try it, just like poke it in there. It's on Game Pass.
I played a little bit. It's very cool.
And it's cooperative. And remember that was a major thing. Cooperative not being at launch. The cooperative is super seamless now.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And speaking of multiplayer games, the ones that we don't like at all, but. There is a character that and iconic, legendary rapper, hip hop artist that we love is going to be in these games. Snoop Dogg joining Call of Duty, Warzone, Vanguard, and mobile as a playable operator. So, unfortunately, this is the last topic here on the show, but I figured I'd throw a wrench in here. So Snoop Dogg, he will join Call of Duty Warzone, Vanguard, and mobile as an operator. It says here that it confirms the first chance to play the legendary rapper and entrepreneur will be in Season 3 of Call of Duty Mobile through a special lucky draw on April 1st. Just hearing that makes me cringe.
So much about that just sounds good.
Just hearing that makes me cringe. It says there are still more details to come across for Snoop Dogg Operator Bundle. All is promised to be revealed before April 19th. So I mean, shout out to Snoop Dogg for getting his bread. I just hate the platform that he's doing it on.
It's same, dude. Like I sent you the message. I was like, man, Snoop Dogg, get your check, man. But really? like my dude, I was singing your praises with that godlike fucking Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
With a perfect amount of Crip Walkers for the world to see. And now Call of Duty Mobile. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I wonder how much they paid him to use his likeness. I'm really curious.
Dude, I mean, like I said, dude,
good check.
Get your bread, know your worth, get paid for it.
But not there.
Maybe, and you know what? Maybe you know what? Throw No Man's Sky a fucking bone. Have your own custom ship of No Man's Sky. Yeah, they need some love. They're still winning awards without fucking people over. It's like this just in because real quick, one mechanic in No Man's Sky is you can have your fleet of freighters. Your freighters go off and do their own thing. And when the Mass Effect Legendary Edition came out, I need to lock that ship. The Normandy is available to be one of your freighters as a fighter class. I think. Don't quote me. Well, it's there.
Yeah.
And fuck it, Snoop. You know what's next after Call of Duty Mobile? Space, motherfucker. Let's go.
So let me ask you, Arthur, because I really have nothing else to say here on this Call of Duty tick, but a question that I'm curious to hear from you, because I feel like this year's already been a really weird year for gamers. Even though in the realm of its nature of E3 not really being relevant, just the fact of not having one or a digital one, and then having a couple games that have already disappointed us. What are you excited for this year?
Dude, I mean, with that, uplifting fucking question. Outer Worlds, not much. It's like a handful.
Yeah.
Now that, because I did want to see trailers. Like again, it's like with the whole E3 thing. The more we discussed it, the more I understood. Like I'm okay seeing only or arguably only a showcase of the big three: Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, because as we discussed last year, a lot of fucking companies. I would attribute that to COVID. That's my pass, but I would argue it was difficult for a lot of individual game developers and publishers to have their own showcase, including a high five, kumbaya, fucking Take-Two Zoom call.
Yeah.
Like, we're awesome. Cool. What about games? Hey, don't interrupt me. So again, what am I excited for? Not too much. Game wise, so software is like, let's say games. Just again, I want to see more of Avowed. I want to see more about. I want that I have that itch for that classic medieval fantasy RPG, but it's like I can't play Skyrim again. I just can't do it.
You'll be back.
Again, I praise Kingdoms of Amalur, but to put the two up against each other, I still, like a lot of people, understandably, nothing against, I love Kingdoms of Amalur. We love Kingdoms of Amalur, but it's something just about Skyrim, that first person and the spells, and then it just does make it like arguably, in my opinion, the top fantasy RPG. Like
that's our Stockholm syndrome, is going back to Skyrim constantly.
Like, I'll be like, man, I'll be like, fuck you, Todd, your stupid jacket. He'd be like, you like Skyrim though, right? I'm like, like, fuck you. So with Avowed, so I'm excited for Avowed, and on the sci-fi aspect of it, of course, Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah.
I'm curious for Starfield. Not excited. That just Bethesda let me down. Sorry, it's like that meme from Superbad. Hey, remember you pissed your pants? Dude, that was like 6 years ago. People don't forget. People don't forget. Okay, I remember Fallout 76. I was there.
Yeah.
I don't know. This isn't really excited for, but just in terms of upgrade, I think now that I have a Series X, this might be the year I kind of put games through its runs and maybe upgrade to like an Elite controller, or the Elite controller too.
Oh shit! Okay.
Try, because now that I'm playing Forza, I can absolutely see how how shifting and that would work a lot better than like X and B versus click. I don't know. Is there, what else was like major that I'm like, oh shit, excited for? Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. This is slight. I would argue slight gamer related. I want to try the alcoholic Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Oh, okay. Is that out now, or is that?
I don't know, but I'm excited for it.
Oh.
Remember that was, remember that was like the thing. I was like me texting you, Jarrell, I can't wait to get Baja blasted. In fact, like we were talking before the recording. Chipotle is a nice Mr. Healthy man.
Yeah.
My dinner last night was the poor man's Chipotle. Live Moss, fuck it, let's go Taco Bell.
Hey man, I remember we went there and tried to get those sweepstakes of the Xbox. Free Xbox.
Dude, that
back in the day.
I wanted to be Charlie in the Chocolate Factory so bad. Run home, Charlie. Run home. I'm fat. I'm Ubering. Fuck you. So yeah, like I said, top of my head, with E3 being canceled, it's kind of like almost like I've forgotten, or like, what I mean? Like, yeah, because E3 is like, it keeps you excited for it, but now that E3 has been canceled, I'm like, you know what? I kind of forget what else is going out.
Yeah, I think whorishly, the only thing I'm really excited for is Starfield. Like I have a very gullible faith around that game. Like, I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's more of one of those things where like I just pray that they don't fuck this up, because I can see the potential, and I think part of me is like how much I liked Mass Effect, and how Mass Effect was just such an epic thing and changed, how space RPG games are today. Like, yeah. I want Todd Howard, or I want Bethesda to finally give us a home run on a game that just is fucking great, and they can update fixes and whatnot, but out of the box, the game is playable at least the first 30 hours. You know what I mean? Like,
at launch.
Yeah, at launch. Exactly.
Like that was everyone's collective joke. It definitely was not mine, and I'm here for it. Like, the internet all reacted to this. I feel like the major, like, arguably the Bethesda gaming community, including myself, reacted the same way. For the first time in your fucking life, Todd Howard, you're gonna have to release a working game at fucking day one.
Yeah, well, like it would be such a beautiful moment to have something similar to Elden Ring, but it's Starfield, where everyone's just playing Starfield. It's all quiet. It's kind of like you make an amazing meal, and all. It's all
Skyrim. Oh, sorry,
oh no, I was gonna say it's like making an amazing meal and all your kids are eating and saying nothing because it's so fucking good. Dude, I want that moment.
Like you're not wrong, dude. Like for me, that's what it was with Skyrim. Like I remember being an Xbox party of literally 11 people. And we're all just playing Skyrim. And then somebody else, like a friend of a friend at the party, he's like, "Whoa, is Skyrim fucking multiplayer?" We're like, "Nah, we're just chilling, playing fucking Skyrim and talking about it." He's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Is that game fun?" And then cue like fucking 11 people. "Oh my god, get this fucking game!"
Yes, like get out.
So like you know, and like I said, a lot of it was silence because you just hear like, "Oh, fuck you, dragon," or like, "Yes, a blue butterfly. I can make my potion." Yeah, I'm like, you know, like I said, like as much as I shit, you know, that's the thing. It's because I've seen the greatness that they can do.
Yeah.
That fall from grace was that much harder.
Yeah. So we'll see. I kind of liked how we ended this. It wasn't super sad. It was a hopeful, slightly cautiously optimistic, which I can live with that.
Yeah. Your lead up question was like, with how shitty this year's been, how everything's been going. Is it just me, or is there nothing fucking look forward to for the rest of this year, Arthur? Like,
it's a crazy year, man. I don't know. You know, really, it's a crazy year so far.
Dude, we barely just finished the first quarter.
And you know what's interesting too, because I know we keep talking about how like there's no reason for me to buy a PS5. I'm curious to see what they do with these supposed PS2, PS1 games and how it reacts to the new PlayStation Plus, that premium edition. Because if they give me some sweet games, I know they're not going to do it. Like this is like, I'm very much like, this is like false hope. Like,
yeah.
Like if they give me some hard like just like Mr. Mosquito on PS, like I'm going to buy the premium. Like
they better have the classic medieval.
Yeah.
The skeleton guy.
Indigo Prophecy. Like give me some PS2 fucking classic. There are over 7,000 PlayStation 2 games that came out for that console. So like, I'm curious to see. Obviously, they're gonna pick like the ones that are the biggest, greatest hits or whatever. Give me Def Jam Fight for New York. Like, give me these games that like people like, you know, were like, fuck, this is amazing on PS2. You know, so I'm just curious to see what they do with that cloud service integrated within PlayStation Plus. Because if they do it right, which I don't think they're going to do it right, if they do it right, I might either subscribe to their Plus via PC and just buy a PlayStation 5 controller, or might even get in the system in the future. But they got to do it right. If they don't do it right, I'm hanging out with you in Game Pass continuously.
and hey, remember, if you or anybody listening is going to do the PlayStation Plus thing, save up.
Yeah,
and that's the hard thing to say. Just talk about money and this real shit. Save up and get the yearly plan flat out, because it is like almost like 45-50% off.
Yeah.
Like in terms of savings compared to the monthly. And this is at the premium tier. This is at the premium highest tier, because remember, only the premium tier, and that's another thing worth mentioning too, that's kind of like not false advertising, but I see what you fucking did there. All the headlines said PS2 shit, but remember, only the premium highest tier thing gets those PS2 games.
Exactly.
So,
and they did that shit on purpose, because I think you know what I mean. So, but you're absolutely right.
Otherwise, why have that tier shit?
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Do it Costco style. Just buy it in bulk. You know what I mean? You're going to save money in the long run. Literally, you're going to save money in the long run. But yeah, that's all I have here for the Gamers for Life podcast. I think that's a good way to end the show here. Again, each and every Saturday, discussing all things games. I'm one of your hosts, Jarrell. With me is my co-host, Arthur Thomas. Thanks for standing up for the gamers, my friend.
No problem. I don't want to be a fat ass forever, so fuck it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will catch you next week.